I'll get rid of my face. You don't need to see that. Fantastic building. It's interesting actually, hearing what we've been talking about in relation to all of the challenges that Leeds is facing at the moment. I'm a passionate northerner. I'm born and bred in Yorkshire, and I've worked in Leeds for much of my career. I feel really excited about what's going on in Yorkshire at the moment, but specifically in Leeds. I actually don't feel like I've seen as much optimism and investment and positive opportunity. Don't get me wrong, I know I can see there are challenges, but I feel really excited about what we've got going on at the moment. And I want to talk to you about an idea that I've got. You were talking about coaching. You were talking about the importance of developing skills. And I can see that there's so much opportunity for us in the north to attract people to come and live here who want to build a really fantastic life, enjoy the environment that they can live and work in, but also make sure that they feel that they can build their career here and stay here and feel that they can be part of this fantastic community that we've got, because I do think we've got something really special. So my background is, I started life as a lawyer here, qualified in about 1995, so a long time ago, but quite quickly realised that law wasn't for me, and whilst I enjoyed bits of it, I wanted to make a change in my career. And I moved into working in people experience teams and talent management, and then I got into diversity and inclusion, and I've worked for the rest of my career, probably for about 20 years now, looking at how you can build brilliant employee experiences and develop people for their potential. And coaching is my thing. I also do a lot of coaching work. I've spent time in all sorts of different organisations, obviously law firms. I've spent time in banks. I've gone off and worked in other places, but I always wanted to come back to Yorkshire. And this is where I want to bring my family up, and I feel really passionate about building a brilliant future for them. And I want to help businesses connect with other businesses and the community to build the skills that we need for the future. And this is the idea. I would like us to think about how businesses can loan their staff out to each other to help make sure that they get the right opportunities and they're giving the skills to businesses, SMEs, charities, public sector organisations, loaning people to each other to give them the right skills that they need at the time, but really build that ecosystem in Leeds. So it's similar to, the football clubs that loan players to each other. People go off, they spend a season somewhere else, and then they can return. And whilst they're off on their loan, they're getting some really interesting and different experiences. They're connecting with people in other organisations. Spending time in physical different spaces really gets your brain working in different ways. And all this time that you're off on loan, and it doesn't have to be, full-time, it could be perhaps 1 day a week for 6 months. You're going and you're learning something really different. You're experiencing a different perspective in life, and then you return to your current employer with all sorts of new ideas, new connections, and you're thinking in a different way. And these experiences are going to be so important for people because, as we know, it's when things get really tough and you're pushed outside your comfort zone that you have to dig deep and you learn about yourself and you learn skills that really matter. The human skills that actually are going to really be so much more important in the future. I don't know whether anybody's read the book 100-Year Life. It scared me when I read it. It basically talks about how we're going to have to change massively the way that our society is set up, the way we change the way we look at work and how we plan our lives for our 100-year lives. So 50% of people that are born now in Western societies will probably live until they're 105. And they've looked at how that actually is going to map out in relation to the way that we have to run our lives and the money that we have to save for that longer life. And what they've calculated is if we are going to have a sustainable way of funding that longer life, we're going to have to work until we're 80. Now, if you then take that back, I know that might scare everybody, so don't be too scared. This is part of the grand plan. If you look at how that 60-year working life could work out, you know, we are going to have to give people time to retrain. We're going to have to give them those flexible skills that they can take throughout those 3 or 4 different career transition points. We're going to have to let them have time off so they can go and do something that feels more meaningful, and they can have some time putting back something back into the community. So businesses and employers are going to have to think about how they can support that and allow their employees to work like that. But we also know that people want far more flexibility now. And we're seeing a massive rise in the number of people who want to be self-employed. They want those portfolio careers. So actually, by allowing people to go out and spend some time at a business or working in a community-based project, and then allowing them back, at least you keep your employees. So this is just an illustration of what we could do when we're thinking about the different phases of life and also the different phases of your career. I've mapped this just thinking about people who are leaving university. So when people leave university, wouldn't it be fantastic if we could have a Northern Powerhouse graduate program where, you know, people in different sectors can perhaps go and spend 6 months in one business, 6 months in another, 6 months working in a community project, and they're connected to Leeds and they're working constantly for the community, but also within that ecosystem that they're going to spend their career in. And it allows smaller businesses to actually access this and have the training, so perhaps they don't have the facilities or they don't have people who can run that for them. So being part of that will give them new, brilliant minds who can start to work in this region. And people feel that they're, you know, well connected and they're looking at their career in the future here. Then you get a job. A couple of years in, we know that millennials, 50% of millennials say that they will probably leave their employer within the next 18 months. People want different experiences. So if people are feeling like they're getting itchy feet, go off, go and experience working somewhere else. Then, obviously, you know, there's the challenges around when you become a parent or you have other caring responsibilities. And getting back into work is quite difficult. So how do we give people the chance to have interesting returnship programs as well? So as you can see, there's different ways of looking at this, and it can happen at any time in your career. There's certain key points in your life that you might think, do you know what, it's time for a change. And actually, it's difficult to work out who to go to, how to make it work. And I think if we could get together on this and we can pull something together in our city and trial this concept, we really could make a big difference to individuals and offer them something different. We can develop their skills and also we can put back into the community. What do you think? There's a nod over there. If anybody would like to talk to me about it. Oh, yeah. Okay. Count you in. Brilliant. What, as somebody who'd like to go on loan or somebody who has a business that would like to be part of it? Okay, fantastic. We've trialled the idea with over 50 organisations, and I asked individuals whether they think it would be beneficial for them, and 91% of the individuals said that yes, they would love this idea. You know, they've all got in their heads where they would love to have the chance to go and work and experience. And 98% of them said we should do this for the benefit of the city and the region. So I really do feel like it could make a difference. So that's it. Thanks very much, everyone.
Oh, have you-